Last week, two of Bain's leading retail and consumer products partners walked us through COVID's impact in the US, with a special focus on how it's changing consumer behavior. And it was a little shocking how long it's likely to be before the world returns to something closer to normal, the step changes in some consumer behaviors and the uncertainty around others, especially as it relates to the companies represented on this call. We left that with three key takeaways. One, the huge shift to digital rather, is exposing people to a lot more product choices. That, added to a lack of inventory from familiar brands, is making consumers more open to trying new ones. So are you doing enough to make it easy for consumers, especially new customers, to feel confident about choosing your products? Two, for many of you, COVID has led to a wave of new customers. Are you doubling down on the channels that are growing most? And three, if closer relationships with your best advocates gave you an advantage in disrupted channels, are you pushing to deepen your relationships with them, turning them into a more powerful force for your brand? That was last week. Next week, we'll dive into some ExpertVoice product advances and do some juicy product reveals. But today, we're going to talk about better reviews. The increasing shift to online is putting a bigger burden on reviews. That means they need to do more to help consumers make more confident buying decisions. Higher conversion rates, bigger average order values, lower return rates. Sometimes a good way to understand how to make things better is to dig into what's wrong with things the way they are now. Who better to do that with than the famed fake review hunter, Tommy Noonan, who's joining us today. I'm Tom Stockham, CEO here at ExpertVoice. We started ExpertVoice to help your customers buy more confidently, your teams create better products, and you build more enduring brands. To do this, we help you establish deeper relationships with the experts who are most influential with your customers. Strengthen what they say about you with insider knowledge and firsthand product experience, and put what they say to work everywhere it matters to your business, in retail stores, in pro and ambassador programs, in social media, in product development and product launches, and in online reviews. Who are all of you? You are part of a remarkable group. On this call are representatives from over 100 leading brands. And I'm humbled and grateful to be here learning with all of you. And who are we learning from today? We first became aware of Tommy Noonan in the middle of 2018 when he was featured on the Planet Money podcast and on NPR. Here was this no-nonsense guy really digging in on some of the reasons online reviews, as we've known them for the past 20 years, are becoming less and less trustworthy, and single-handedly taking on Amazon. What a story. It seemed like if we paid attention, this guy could help us make commerce better. Tommy, thank you so much for spending time with us today. Tell us how you started out on this odyssey.
Thanks, Tom. It's really my pleasure to be here. Any opportunity I get to chat about fake reviews or online reviews in general, I jump at the chance. So this is an exciting opportunity for me. And hello to everybody. I'm Tommy Noonan. I'm the founder of ReviewMeta. Before that, I was the founder of supplementreviews.com. So I've been kind of an online review geek for the last pretty much my entire adult career here. So I'm going to share my slides. Make sure I'm doing this right. Looks good. All right. So I'll give you guys a quick, well, not so quick, story of my journey and what I've learned along the way, where it started, how I acquired the knowledge that I have today, and the lessons that I've learned. I'll also share with you some of my insights about what's going on with the online review industry, namely on Amazon. I pretty much exclusively focus on the reviews on Amazon, and where I see the trends are going in terms of consumer trust of online reviews. And then we'll have a discussion about kind of where to go from here, how best to design an online review system and kind of what brands can do to make sure that they retain that consumer trust. So my story started out in 2006 in Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where I was an undergrad. In my dorm room, actually, is where my story started. So this is not actually a picture of my real dorm room. This is a stock photo from the Cal Poly housing website. As you can tell, my dorm room would have dirty laundry and dirty dishes littered all over it and be a lot more cluttered. So this is where the story started. And as a sophomore in college, I was getting into going to the gym. We had a state-of-the-art rec center that was just built, I think in like 2004. And so we were hitting the gym, my friends and I, my roommates and I. This picture is actually of the new rec center. When I was graduating in 2008, they were actually tearing down the new rec center to build a new one. I don't know what the logic was in that, but it was a pretty nice gym. I guess it still is. So one day, my roommate comes in to my dorm room and he's got this product. It's called NO Explode. And NO Explode is this pre-workout. It came out sometime around 2006. And it was kind of this revolutionary product at the time. You take the product before you go to the gym. It's got this like cocktail of stimulants, caffeine, creatine, nitric oxide in it. It's all totally legal, all over the counter. My roommate went down to the local supplement store to buy this product. And I think that you can still get it at like Walmart or GNC today. So the picture on the left is the old school label, and that's the actual product that he came into my dorm room with. And he's like, hey man, like, do you want the rest of this jug? Like, I can't use this anymore. And I'm thinking, what, why not? Like, what's wrong? It was a $60 product. I didn't have that kind of money. He did. He got some help from his parents, so he was a little bit more spendy than I was. And he said, every time I take this product, I take it before my workout as directed, and then it just destroys my stomach. And so I cannot get a good workout in because I'm going to the bathroom the whole time. And I'm thinking, well, that sucks for you, but lucky me, I get to try this product I've wanted to try. And, I've got an iron stomach, so it really worked out for me. And I kind of felt bad for the guy because, I feel like he got ripped off. He went down to the supplement store. I doubt that the clerk there said anything about the side effects. I mean, why would he? He's trying to get that commission. Maybe he didn't even know about these potential side effects. But my roommate could not possibly have been the first person to experience this side effect with this product. And I feel like he should have known. He should have been warned. So I did some Googling. I went around trying to find a source for online supplement reviews, and I couldn't find a source at the time. And so the gears in my head were starting to turn, and I decided I was going to build my own supplement review platform. So I spent the next couple of months locked in my dorm room, not going out, not partying. I was working and taking, I think, like 20 units at the time. So I did not spend a lot of social time in that period of my life. But after months of engineering and perfecting the perfect website, the most beautifully designed website you'll ever see, I launched thesupplementrating.com in May of 2006. And I thought, all right, here we go. Like, I'm just gonna, be rich and famous in a matter of days.
It is shocking that you aren't famous for your design skills.
Infamous. And so, it was kind of a dud when I launched it, but over time, a few people started trickling in. I kind of seeded the site, reviewing all the supplements that I had tried. I wrote like a couple dozen reviews, and we started actually getting a few people here and there discovering the site and writing reviews. So I spent some more time working on this. This was, I was in college, still taking classes, still working, doing internships and stuff, but this was my passion. I really loved kind of like curating all these reviews and helping people kind of like get real raw information on these products, rather than just like reading the supplement sales material that says that, you'll gain 40 pounds of muscle in 2 days. That's obviously not true. So in 2008, I did a redesign, and I remember launching this design and thinking how proud I was. I had the like sidebars and the featured deals and stuff. But around 2008, we started getting more and more visitors, more and more reviews on the site. And I graduated with a degree in construction management in 2008. And that was a horrible time to get into the construction industry, if anyone remembers 2008. So I actually decided I was going to go full-time at this and make this my full-time job. So I was living in my parents' basement for a couple months and, just saving money and just, working on this site. And it kept on growing, and it was a really exciting project to be a part of. And in 2010, we kind of made this turn. We kind of hit this critical mass point in 2010. I actually coughed up the money to buy the domain name supplementreviews.com. We had a full community of just meatheads that were totally serious about their supplements, and they would write in-depth reports on every supplement they tried. We had an active forum with hundreds or thousands of members just chatting away, posting, dozens of topics a day, and, ranking their supplements, sharing their workout tips. So we had a real community going. But at the same time, we started showing up on the radars of brands and, mainstream supplement stores that were looking to leverage our platform and kind of find a way to use our platform to promote their products, which I guess is natural. But some of them wanted to just get their products to the top at any cost. And so we started seeing more and more reviews that were submitted that were kind of fishy and kind of questionable. And I really got into doing some sleuthing and some detective work whenever a new review was posted that looked suspicious. And so we had this community, and every new review was posted on the front page. So we'd had this community of people that would read every new review. And if something looked fishy, they would let me know and I would dig into it. And one of my favorite tricks was actually, everyone that signs up, they have to have an email address. And it's not public. You can't see their email address, but I could. So I would take their email address, I would just plug it into the search bar on Facebook. And about 50% of the time, their profile would just pop right up. I think it still works. And you would see this is the brand owner, clearly written on their Facebook page. And so I would delete the reviews, and then I would post a thread on the forum calling them out and saying, hey, this brand owner tried to post a review. They clicked the box that says they have no affiliation with the brand. They did not disclose their affiliation at all. And they tried to pass a review off as a customer. This is lying. This is not truthful. So kind of started making a name for myself as this fake review detector, this platform that doesn't allow BS on it. But despite that, we still kept on seeing some brands just try to flood our system with fake reviews. And so here's a screenshot of this incident in 2012 that we had. A supplement brand basically tried to launch their brand through our site. And we saw hundreds of positive reviews flooding for this one product. And we all knew they were fake, but I did all this sleuthing and I couldn't find any links. They were changing their IP address on every post, using different emails to sign up. I couldn't quite figure it out. And, everyone was upset. And I'm like, I can't delete it if I don't know for sure that they're fake. So finally, I found some link in all of this data, deleted all of these reviews and posted this big in-depth thread about it. And the brand, responded and they're like, this is all fake. We will see you in court. And they said something like, can't wait until the day that I can look you in the eyes in court or something. And they never sued me because I think discovery would have been very embarrassing for them. But if you look closely here, there's this thing called the review authenticity score, 45% suspicious. So this was when I was starting to build systems that would kind of automatically analyze the authenticity of reviews on my own platform, because I knew there's no possible way that every single review would be 100% authentic and nothing would fall through the cracks. So I kind of obsessed over this a lot more than I should have, but I just loved doing this investigation work, and I just loved catching someone that tried to, get something through on my platform. And I took it personally. I built this platform. We had all of these community members that, just really love this resource. And then a brand comes in and tries to sell more and they write all these fake reviews. I just felt like that was a personal insult to like my life's work. And so I really took it seriously when someone tried to post a fake review. And so over the years, starting in I think about 2013, 2014, we started designing features, and this was after a lot of trial and error. We started designing the review platform in a way that would discourage the fake reviews. And so what we found really worked was to focus on quality reviews over quantity. So, you know, you look at platforms like Amazon and a product has 10,000 reviews. Who is going to read all 10,000 reviews? Nobody, you know? So if you've got a handful of long, in-depth quality reviews from industry experts, that's way better than a bunch of reviews from who knows who. We did a manual approval process. So new reviewers wouldn't have their reviews posted to the site directly. It would have to be reviewed and signed off by 3 of the top community members before it was even posted. So if it didn't meet our editorial guidelines, it would go back to the reviewer and you'd have to, you know, explain, hey, why did you buy this product in the first place? Like, how long did you take it for? What kind of results did you see? What was your workout routine? You really had to get into the nitty gritty about the product. You couldn't just say, hey, great product, 5 stars. And we focused on member trust, right? So we thought that it was more important to get more quality reviews from someone who is trusted rather than getting a ton of untrusted people and just hoping that the numbers would speak for themselves. So that's kind of what we did to combat the fake review platform on supplement reviews. And as a side note, I stepped away from supplement reviews in 2018 and the new owners trashed the site. So if you go to supplementreviews.com today, it is completely different. Basically, they just removed everything that we'd built. I don't know why. You can write them a message and ask them, but I don't have anything to do with the site anymore because the next site that I built was called ReviewMeta, and that took up all my time. So when I was running supplement reviews, one of the visitors wrote in and said, hey, you know, you're really good at detecting reviews on your fake reviews on your own platform. Have you ever gone to Amazon and tried to detect fake reviews on their platform? And my gut knee-jerk reaction was, I don't have access to all the data that Amazon does, right? I don't have access to the IPs. I don't have access to the email addresses. And Amazon's got like 1 billion times more resources to fight fake reviews than I do. What could I possibly do? That was my initial thought. But then I looked up this product on Amazon, and it was called UberVita UberMax Natural Enhancement for Men, a testosterone boosting natural supplement. And it had 4.8 stars on Amazon with 580 reviews. And right there's kind of a red flag. These natural testosterone boosters they're junk. They don't work. The science is like totally debunked, yet they're still sold and they're still promoted. And they're just hoping for a placebo in the people that are taking it. I mean, there's some studies that show that if you have some lack of certain nutrients in your body, that maybe these will help, but it's kind of rare. So anyway, I take a look at the reviews for this product and I start reading them and my jaw just hits the floor. There are dozens of people that flat out say, I have not used this product and I'm just posting a review to get a free fat burner. Or they say, I received it today. I haven't started taking it, 5 stars. I mean, how do you know the product works if you just received it today? Like, that's not a review. That would never fly on my review platform. So I decided to sit down one day, spend the entire day. I mean, this sounds insane, reading every one of the 580 reviews for this product. And I just sat there furiously tallying up all the numbers, which ones were verified, which ones weren't verified. And then actually like clicking on the reviewer profile, seeing what other reviews they have done, you know, writing down the dates that the reviews were written, seeing if there was a big spike. And what I found was just like appalling. So something like 90% of the reviews were unverified. There were dozens of reviewers that admitted flat out they have not used this product. And dozens of reviewers that said, I'm just doing this for a free product that was offered from the brand. The first 30 or so reviews for this product chronologically, they had reviewed nothing but other products from this brand and had given all of them 5 stars. And then like, I also noticed that maybe about a third of the reviews, the product had 580 reviews. I think it was like 200 reviews were submitted over like a 3-day period, like a 3-day weekend. And that's how they got almost half of their reviews. So like I did this big write-up, but as I was going through all this data, the gears were again turning in my head. And I thought, you know what? I could write a computer program that would just download all this data from Amazon automatically. And then I could also write a computer program that would analyze the data and look for these patterns. And so that's when I had the idea to make ReviewMeta.com. So spent the next 6 months trying to code this up. I mean, it seemed like a simple idea, like, oh, just write this computer script. But no, it was really challenging. Spent like, 6 months locked in my room again, coding this site up. And when we launched it, it was, well, it still is a site. It's still active. But it's a site where you can go and you can check any product on Amazon for inauthentic reviews. And all you do is you go to Amazon, you copy the product URL at the top of your browser, which is like up here. I don't know if you guys can see that. And then you paste it into the search bar at ReviewMeta, and we will go scrape all of the reviews from that product and analyze the patterns and see if there's any suspicious patterns, throw out the reviews that seem inauthentic, and then recalculate the adjusted rating. So this has been a really fun project to work on. And it started out slow, but once we got on the national radar, or once we made a name for ourselves, I don't know what you want to say. We got, and I use the term "we" as the royal we. It's just me. I've had some contractors that have helped me code certain pieces of the site, but I have been contacted by like Washington Post, TechCrunch. I've been quoted in all these articles. I'm constantly sending data to journalists that are writing about fake reviews. I've been on Good Morning America. Last week, this German TV station sent a film crew to Reno, Nevada, where I live, and filmed me like downtown answering questions about fake reviews. So it's been a really fun ride. I've done so much stuff in the review industry. I get to have like little speaking engagements like this, which is awesome, which I love doing. And I've done some work outside of ReviewMeta since launching it. I got contacted by an Amazon seller, several years ago, who was in a lawsuit. He was suing another Amazon seller over fake products and fake reviews. And so I actually was hired as an expert witness in that case. And the case has been going on for 7 years. So if anyone's thinking about suing their competitors, just know it's a long, expensive process. But I just testified at trial over the summer. It was a Zoom trial. So, it's kind of interesting to see a court case, go on Zoom like this, where I was wearing a shirt and tie and, sweatpants and sitting at home. So that was a fun experience. And I've done a lot of work for other Amazon sellers that are also interested in kind of getting some action taken against their competitors who are cheating the system. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, about the competitive nature of these Amazon sellers, and how it's really, really creating an atmosphere where fake reviews are just flourishing.
So you've done all this, like this has taken us up to this point more than 10 years that you've been at this. What was most surprising? Like, as you went through all this, what did you just think, oh my gosh, this can't be?
So I honestly thought, I do this thing where I like pace around my room and like brainstorm. Like I have these brainstorming sessions, pros and cons, or a SWOT analysis. And I remember like really thinking about building ReviewMeta and like some of the weaknesses or some of the threats to ReviewMeta. And one of the things that I really thought was going to happen was, you know what, if this site becomes successful, Amazon is going to realize that they've got a problem. And like I said, they've got 1 billion times more resources than I, teams of engineers that are way smarter, way more educated than myself. And they're going to fix the fake review problem. Like, if the site is successful, Amazon's just going to fix the fake review problem and the site will become obsolete. And I honestly thought that. And when I started getting some popularity with the site, I was like, it's just a matter of time before Amazon basically fixes everything and the site is obsolete and consumer trust is restored and I'm out of luck. Maybe Amazon will hire me, if I get lucky or something. But that did not happen. None of those things happened. Amazon has not been going that direction. Amazon has actually been kind of going the opposite direction than I think they should. And we're still seeing these just absolutely egregious fake review violations on Amazon. And you're just kind of like hitting yourself in the head, like, how are they not doing something about this? So I was really surprised by the trend that Amazon has gone. I thought the problem would be solved, but I was very wrong about that. So in order to illustrate some of the stuff, oh wait, we'll get to that next. But yeah, Amazon's trend that I see is that they're very short-sighted and they're kind of taking the direction of less transparency. Whereas I believe there should be more transparency in the review industry. You should show more information about where the reviews are coming from so that customers can kind of read the information and then make their own decision about which reviews to trust. But Amazon's kind of doing the opposite, and they just want to jack up the number of reviews that every product has and jack up the number of star rating, the star rating for every product, so that you just click add to cart, you convert, you pay, for your product, Amazon gets their fee, the sellers make money. It kind of just feels like they're all about the immediate bottom line. But I think that the side effect of this is that you're seeing diminishing consumer trust in reviews. And we see that with all the articles that are being written about fake reviews. More people are skeptical of the reviews that they're reading online. And then, as I'm about to show you, some of these egregious examples where you're just like, Amazon customers are seeing these egregious examples every day, and they're like, wow, how can I trust anything I read? This is ridiculous. So to illustrate the point, I want to play a game, and you can either use your little whiteboard, or you can type the answer in to the chat, which I seem to have lost. I don't know where the chat went. Uh-oh. I imagine
I can scan the answers for you, Tommy.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So the game that we will play, has anyone, I'm sure someone has heard Name That Tune. That was, a game show in the early 90s or 80s. But this is a game called Name That Amazon Product. So all of these screenshots that you're about to see are reviews and questions and answers, all from the same exact Amazon product listing. I didn't go to different products. They're all the same product. So I'll show you some reviews, some questions and answers, and then your job is to guess what product is being sold. So here we go. First review. Haven't used it yet, but I did check it out. It was cheap in price and I got exactly what I ordered. The zippers even work. I was worried they might not, being kind of cheap in price. So he talks about zippers. All right. Go to the next one. Made an excellent visual barrier in my walk-in attic. Okay, visual barrier. I stapled the orange netting with a heavy-duty stapler to the attic floor and then to the 2x4 uprights, creating a clearly visual barrier of the area that must be avoided. Okay, orange netting. All right, now let's check out some.
Unfortunately, no one fell through to the rest of the house. So far, the guess is Ziploc bags.
It's an interesting use case for Ziploc bags, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get some more information in the question and answers section. So, question: power required to operate fan 110 volts or 240 volts? It is a 110 standard house plug. Okay. Ziploc bags don't need 110 standard house plug. Maybe it's I don't know. And then here's my favorite, probably my favorite question ever. Question: how long has the effect bought the answer? And then I think this is the best answer in the world, because how do you answer this question? Someone figured it out. In general, it takes about 7 to 15 days. It should usually take 2 to 3 weeks to make it all effective. What is effective? The Ziploc bags? All right, and then this one's got some pictures on it, so maybe, you know, this is our smoking gun here, our smocking gun. Save your outside plants from freezing. I live in Houston, Texas, so I won't use these often, but it's good to have on hand. Anyway, when I saw these plant covers, okay, so maybe it's plant covers, but do they need 110 volts? And are they effective in 2 to 3 weeks? So I'll help you guys out and I'll give you some options here. And you can either, you know, write it down, or I'm going to write it down. I like using the whiteboard, and you guys are all looking at me anyway. So what is this product? Is it A, a plant cover, B, an outdoor tent, C, electric fly swatter, or D, power drill? And I'll give everybody a moment to chime in. Ingo, what are we seeing?
A lot of tents. People are feeling the tent is a charging to something.
Oh, that's interesting.
Saw 2 C's, 3 C's.
3 C's, all right, okay. And your answer is, drum roll please, C, an electric fly swatter. So pretty shocking to see this. And it's kind of more shocking to accidentally discover it in the wild. You know, you go to a product and you see it's got 4.5 stars, 52 ratings. All right, it's probably good enough. Hit add to cart, but maybe you want to read the reviews first. How many people, by a show of hands, will actually buy something off of Amazon, see that it's got 4.5 stars and a bunch of ratings, and not even read a single review and just hit add to cart? I have done that before. You're just in a hurry. You're buying a product that's like $6 and it's something that's like, what's going to go wrong? It's a pack of batteries or something. And it's there in 2 days. Don't even worry about it. Well, this scheme is called review hijacking, and it happens because Amazon is a marketplace, and sellers can go in and basically take over an existing listing and change all of the images, change the title, change the description, but leave all the reviews. And so then you get an instance like this, where you're looking at an electric fly swatter and you read the reviews and it says, these plant covers were great. And you're like, wow,
Daniel, prize to you for picking out that's exactly what was going on.
Yeah, and it's kind of bewildering, and you see some odd reactions. You actually see people commenting on the reviews that say like nasty things like, you idiot, why did you review this plant cover? This is clearly an electric fly swatter. Like, people don't understand that this is a malicious thing that sellers are doing. It's not someone accidentally reviewing the wrong product. And this has actually happened to me before. I bought I had an old Subaru that didn't have a headphone jack or Bluetooth. So I had one of those cassette to, like audio jack things. So I put the cassette in the thing. So I bought that on Amazon. I wrote a review on it because it sucked. And then I went back later and looked at it, and it was like a tooth whitening product. And I was like, I never bought that. And here's my review for this cassette to auxiliary jack adapter, and it's now it's under a tooth whitening product. Like, what is going on here? So really, like totally shady stuff. And if if you review something and you say, hey, all these reviews are for the wrong product, you're actually violating Amazon's terms of service. You're not allowed to like comment on the authenticity of the reviews. So your review will get deleted for calling it out. And I discovered this first because someone wrote in on ReviewMeta and said, hey, your website is picking up all the wrong reviews for this product I entered. And I'm like, oh no, there's some bug in the code. And so I go look and I'm checking it out. And I'm like, wait a second, these are all the reviews on Amazon. Like, what is going on here? And it was covered in depth by like Washington Post, BuzzFeed News a couple of years ago. And I thought that Amazon would patch this, but it still goes on today. So it's things like this that are just these crazy violations, these egregious examples where consumers are just like, hey, I can't trust anything anymore. Like, I got to be suspicious of everything. Like, this this isn't even a fake review scheme I ever dreamed would have been possible. So some other examples that of the wrong direction that Amazon is taking is they launched this thing called one-tap ratings back in, I think it was late last year. Basically, it allows you to rate a product without writing a written review. So you can go on your email or your phone and just tap the 5 stars, and you don't have to justify it. You don't have to explain yourself. And then there's no data whatsoever shown to the customer about the reviews. And so here's an example of a product, 4.8 stars out of 5, 1,800 customer ratings, but not a single written review. So we can't see, were all these ratings from the same day? Were all these ratings from people who just signed up and posted 1 rating? Were all these ratings from the wrong product that were stolen and we have no way of knowing because there's not a written review? For some reason, the 4.8 stars, I think, is what scammers choose, because 5 stars is unbelievable, but 4.8 is like the sweet spot where it's like just believable enough and still really high. So here's another example, a mini fridge, 10,000 ratings, 4.8 stars, and they've got 11 written reviews, and 2 of them are positive and 9 of them are negative, but they still have a 4.8 star with 10,000 ratings. I mean, they're obviously getting these ratings from somewhere that's not authentic. And then you have sellers that actually put a little note in their product that say, hey, get a free gift card or a free product if you give a review. So I actually followed up with one of these, and I contacted the seller and I said, how do I get a rebate for the chair? Do I have to post a review on Amazon? Does it have to be 5 stars? They say, yes. And then I say, should I disclose in the review that I'm getting a refund, which is actually required, legally required by the FTC? And the seller says, no, please just leave a review for the product. So they're pretty much doing anything they can to get people to post 5 stars, including paying their customer. And then you have this, this big situation going on private social media groups, such as Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram, Instagram, I think, where you have sellers that are offering their products basically for free. They're giving a refund out. And you have reviewers that get basically paid to write reviews. And so here's a screenshot of one of these groups. And the seller is saying, please pay close attention to the directions. You've got to buy it, and you can't use slow shipping, 1 or 2 day only. You must leave a 5-star review. You must leave a review within 3 to 7 days. And then once you do that, they will send you money via PayPal. And of course, the product in question here is a natural testosterone booster, again, which you have to review in 3 to 7 days. And they're probably saying that you need at least a 90-day supply to see results. So, I mean, it's just blatantly fake reviews. And the problem with this scheme is that they're all going to be verified purchasers because they bought the product at full price with their own money. So, and then everything is taking place outside of Amazon. So Amazon's got no way of really detecting it. Let's see some other examples here. Who has, by show of hands, who has the iPhone 12? I don't. I'm just giving you an example of what to do. Oh, all right. Tom's got the iPhone 12. Right on. Who had it back in September and August of this year before it was actually released to the public? Okay, nobody. Inga, do I see any hands up? Nope. Okay.
No hand.
Well, for some reason, this iPhone 12 case that was launched on Amazon back in August seemed to get a bunch of 5-star reviews with people saying that it fit their iPhone 12 perfectly back in August or September, months before it was released to the public. So either these reviewers are Steve Jobs or Tim Apple or whoever who have access to the product before it's released to the public, or they're just blatantly fake. And it's like, you see these things and you're just like, this can't be real, So like I said, the result is you've got decreased consumer trust in reviews. And I think the whole reason this is happening is because you have an extremely competitive marketplace. Amazon is just dominating e-commerce, and these sellers can make a lot of money if they're ranked at the top of their category, because there's just so much volume on Amazon. And so I use the analogy of competitive cycling and the story of Lance Armstrong, who admitted to doping. Who watches competitive cycling. I'm again, I think it's kind of boring. I love cycling myself, but they're just pedaling, and they're pedaling for hours, and the only exciting parts are the finish or when they fall. But I love cycling. I rode yesterday. I ride almost pretty much every day that I can. But in the world of cycling, I think Lance Armstrong was talking about how everybody is doping. And if you're not, even if you're the best athlete, you're the best cyclist, if you're not doping, if you're not cheating, you are not going to be competitive. And so we're kind of seeing that on some categories on Amazon. And I don't mean kind of, I mean, we're really seeing that on many categories on Amazon, where like sellers that have been selling for years are just getting crushed by these sellers that just show up, get a bunch of fake reviews for their products, and then start out selling them and start ranking #1. And once you have a competitor who's cheating, who's already ranking #1, it's going to be very, very hard to catch up. So you're seeing a lot of dirty games that are played between the sellers and a lot of fake reviews. And yeah, I mean, you think like, how can these sellers just pay so much money for these fake reviews? But when you're doing millions of dollars in volume because you've got the #1 spot, it's worth it to invest $20,000, $50,000 in fake reviews. So, this is leading this hyper competition on Amazon that is really not properly policed by Amazon, is leading to customers kind of thinking and worrying about fake reviews more. And so we're seeing, for example, the term fake reviews, searches are up over the last decade. We're seeing this study is done every year, and they ask a series of questions to shoppers. I think it's like 1,000 shoppers. Do you trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations? And in 2017, that number was about 85%, and now it's down to 75%. So the last couple of years, we've seen a significant drop. Do you question the authenticity of reviews? 68% of respondents say yes, they question the authenticity of reviews. One of the things that I'm seeing is that there is more media coverage about fake reviews. It seems to me that every like Christmas shopping season, every Black Friday, Cyber Monday, whatever, I get just an influx of requests from journalists and reporters who are looking to do a story about fake reviews. And it's kind of somewhat hyped up. There is a real fake review problem, but like it's, the media hypes it up even more because they're looking for a story. And so, I know I spent the last 40 minutes just ragging on these reviews and saying negative things. And I'm kind of a skeptical person, but I don't want you to get the impression that we need to throw out all reviews. Absolutely not. Reviews play a very important role in e-commerce. I'm kind of a review purist. I think reviews are extremely important, but they have to be honest. And if they're not, then it's totally not okay. But I think that, and the data does show that reviews are still very important for brands and for sellers. And so some of the data we're seeing in that regard is 92.4% of people are more likely to buy a product if they're able to read a trusted review about it. 72% of consumers will wait until they've read reviews before they take action. We're also seeing conversion rates increase tremendously when reviews are included in a product listing. And that's especially so for higher priced products in higher priced categories. So when consumers are doing more research, they want to see reviews even more. And then we're also seeing that 76% of respondents find content posted by other consumers to be more honest than brand content. And I'm definitely included in that, especially coming from the supplement industries, where these brands are making just ridiculous claims about these supplement products that the science does not support at all. And so I kind of inherently distrust what a brand says. Like, I need to hear it from an unbiased source that actually used the product, that's trustworthy, that doesn't have a financial interest in whether or not I buy the product or whether or not the review is positive. So, now we'll open up this discussion. I don't necessarily have all the answers, but I still believe that brands need to leverage trusted reviews and avoid the trap of getting as many reviews as possible and the highest star rating as possible just to get them, the biggest immediate bottom line boost. I think that my vision is this long-term plan where brands are, getting reviews from real experts that are, really versed in the category, that are trusted, that are well respected. There's a lot of transparency. And so I think reviews are still very important, but you got to do them right. So any questions?
That's a great summary. And we'll look at the chat section for other questions, but it does seem like the wave of media around this keeps growing and growing and growing. Just in the past few days, there was the the Bloomberg article the other day that you were quoted in, where it was talking about the fraction of fake reviews getting up near 50+% on Amazon, which typically doesn't happen till the holiday season, but it's been happening now. And then there was a Wall Street Journal article over the weekend that was going into some research about, well, how do consumers really use reviews? Like, what are some of the behaviors they're doing? And they're starting to get better at picking things out, even in this. Anyway, I was just wondering, that Wall Street Journal article, particularly where it talks about like the 4-star review frequently having more power than the 5-star review, the review that talks about mistakes people have made and a consumer wanting more of that. Do those kinds of things line up with things you've seen in what does work in a review?
Yeah. So one thing that's interesting about these articles that come out is that 40%, 50% number, that's coming from a different source that is notoriously way oversensitive to the data. And I actually shared my data with the journalist and she didn't include it. And that showed it was like 10 to 15% unnatural reviews. And I didn't actually see any significant boost over the holidays, maybe a little bit of one. But that's not to say that, 10 to 15% of Amazon reviews being fake, that's still extremely high. And it's not like every listing has 10 to 15% fake reviews. It's like probably 80% of listings don't have any fake reviews. And then 20% of listings have like 90% fake reviews. So it's still alarming, being on the side of data and then seeing some of these like articles go out. It's kind of frustrating to see how the media covers it, and sometimes it's not accurate. And what also happens that I've noticed, I'm going off on a tangent now, but you see like, Bloomberg will do the article, and then you see like dozens of other smaller outlets will write their own article covering that article and just screwing up the data a little bit. So there was one, I was like quoted in some article, like Tommy Noonan of Meta Review. And it's like, come on, you're just copying my name. How do you get it wrong? So sometimes these articles are a little bit screwed up, but the data does show, yes, there are these trends and it is a problem. Sorry, I was just on a little rant there. The question was about what are the tactics to, that consumers are using on their own to snuff out fake reviews. So I think one of the things that I talked about earlier is if every single review is 5 stars, that's a red flag right there. And I did see some studies that showed that, like there is a sweet spot somewhere like in the review, the rating range of like 4.5 to 4.8 stars. But then the trust actually goes down once you get into the 5-star range, because it's like that's kind of statistically impossible to have everybody rating it at 5 stars. And you actually see a lot of times, I'll see all these discussions on Reddit and on Twitter of people like saying, here's my method of figuring out if reviews are fake. And a lot of people say, throw out all the 1 stars, throw out all the 5 stars, only read the 2, 3, and 4-star reviews. And so you're seeing people do that, but the data doesn't necessarily support that all 5-star reviews are inauthentic. And I don't even think that the data necessarily supports that. Well, I would say probably a higher proportion of 5-star reviews are inauthentic than 4-star reviews. But I think throwing out all the 5-star reviews, you're going to lose a lot of valuable feedback there.
Got it. So Nikki Price asks, how does Amazon come up with the quote, Amazon's choice label? Do you have any insight on that? How do they come up with that recommendation, and can it be trusted?
No, that's the $1 million question, is how do they come up with that badge? And I've seen so many Amazon's choice products that are just have hijacked reviews and are just egregious violations. And you're like scratching your head like, oh, that's awkward. Like Amazon is like giving them their badge of honor. And then it's just, you can very easily tell it's all faked. I think that Amazon has like, they don't give away their secret sauce. They're not going to tell you exactly how that badge is assigned, but it does seem to be algorithmic. I don't think there is a human checking it manually, because otherwise we probably wouldn't see the things that we do. So I think it's algorithmic. It's based on like sales volume. It's based on like return rate. It's based on like customer reviews. So there's a bunch of different factors that go into it. But the bottom line is, if you get a lot of 5-star reviews and you have a high star rating and a lot of reviews, that's gonna help with conversions. So you're gonna convert better, you're gonna sell more products, and those are also signals to tell Amazon that maybe this is the Amazon's choice. And so I haven't been seeing that badge much as recently. So maybe they're kind of tweaking it because they know maybe it was a little bit screwed up before, but it is baffling to see that badge given to products that absolutely do not deserve it. And I am 99% sure Amazon does not have a team of people that is like buying the product, using it, and they're saying like, oh yeah, I choose this one. Like, it's done algorithmically through data.
Got it. Callie Carpenter asks, in regards to negative reviews, I tend to think it's critical to show the company's response to not only positive reviews, but also negative reviews. I think some companies are quick to delete negative reviews when it's potentially an opportunity to address an issue, gain trust through service. It can be a fine balance, but what are your thoughts on responding to negative reviews?
100%. I don't have any hard data to support this, but in my experience, I've seen the brands that respond to their negative reviews, in a way of kind of like addressing the problem and calling out like, hey, maybe you didn't use the product correctly, or, our product is intended for this or that. It's a very delicate thing to do. It's hard to take the criticism and be like, oh my God, I got a 1-star review for this. Are you kidding me? It's hard to like put that aside and then like try to face, I'm not good at it, but I know there are like PR people that are way better at this than I am, but addressing their issues and showing that like, hey, like we want to make your experience better, but also not like offering like, hey, we'll give you, we'll give you a free product or a free refund if you want to try blah, blah, blah. Like that's kind of crossing the line to, doing something that's not allowed, which is like offering an incentive for them to remove their 1-star review. But I think negative reviews are important. Like I said earlier, you've got like anybody looking at a product that sees only 5-star reviews, that's going to be suspicious to everybody across the board. So having those negative reviews, and then also one of the tactics I hear from a lot of people is that they always check the negatives, and I always tell people to check the negatives. That's something that I do myself. And reading the negative reviews and seeing, are their complaints legitimate? Maybe they used the product wrong. Maybe they just complained about slow shipping or something silly like that. And then seeing the brand respond is really, in my opinion, endearing to see them actually addressing the situation and being like, yeah, we acknowledge that there was something wrong with you and we want to make it better and we're going to improve ourselves. And, hopefully this was a one-off thing and, we're going to help you out here. So I think negative reviews are really important. Getting them eliminated is not necessarily a better or worse strategy than responding to them.
Yep. Okay. Josh Aston, he writes, when distrust forms on something, that typically means it's ripe for disruption. People begin to look for something else that is better than the existing approach, reviews in this case. Where do you see reviews going in the future? Is it a reform of the same system or something different entirely?
It's hard to say. And so I've grown a little bit cynical about the whole situation because, like I said at the beginning of my story, I thought that Amazon was going to fix all their problems once I called them all out. And we're clearly seeing that not happening. So I have a vision of what reviews would look like, but I think that is different than Amazon's vision. And it doesn't matter what my vision is. So whatever Amazon does, that's kind of where the reviews are going. Amazon's got like a very strong stranglehold on online reviews, and competing with them on online reviews is going to be almost impossible because they've got such a huge volume. And if you try to start your own review platform, it's going to be an uphill battle because you've got millions of products to review, and you're going to have millions of products with no reviews, and it's going to be not helpful for anybody. So trying to compete with Amazon, I think, is impossible. My personal vision is you would have more highly trusted reviewers that are vetted, that you've got, their history right in front of you. You've got a story about them. Hey, they're an avid outdoorsman, and they competed in the CrossFit games, and they're this is their person. Here's their Twitter, here's their Instagram, and they'll review products and really give an in-depth, detailed description of them. And that each product would have fewer reviews, but more trusted, more transparent, more in-depth reviews. That's my vision. You'd have more transparency, fewer reviews, because who's going to read 10,000 reviews? Nobody. You don't need that number. And that people would actually read the review, and based on that, they would figure out if the product is right for them or not. They wouldn't just look at the star rating. Oh, it's got 4.5 stars, add to cart, But in order to realize that vision, consumer behavior is going to have to change a little bit. We're going to have to get even more skeptical of the reviews that we read online. And then Amazon is also going to have to do something, or we're going to have to see another major review platform kind of take that direction and start stealing some market share from Amazon.
I love your vision of what should be true. Let's see. Sorry, I said Denny asks, I've talked with some consumers who look at 3-star reviews because they tend to contain a good mix of pros and cons. Have you seen any real data to show whether that's a common behavior or an emerging behavior?
That's interesting. It's really interesting. I can run a query, and I can see 5, 4, 3, 2, 1-star reviews and what percentage overall on Amazon we have determined to be inauthentic. And so I can run the query. It'll take a while. I can do it after the call, but that is actually a really interesting data point that I want to see too, now that it's brought up. I would imagine that 3-star reviews would be less likely to be inauthentic. And the reason being is that, like, what motive would you have to fake a 3-star review, right? You're not going to attack a competitor with a 3-star review, and you're not going to like boost a product score with a 3-star review. So what's the point? I do know that the data shows that, like 75% of reviews are 5-star, and there's kind of like a dearth of reviews around 2, 3, and 4 stars. And then there's a lot of 1-star reviews.
Yeah.
So we do have that. That's an interesting piece of data. There's not a lot of 2, 3, or 4-star reviews. And that's kind of going off on a tangent again, but I think it should be, the 5-star review system is not appropriate at all. It should be a yes or a no. It should be a 2-star system. Like, did this product work? Yes or no. Because like, what is a 3-star review? Like, one man's 5-star review might be someone else's 3-star review.
Yeah.
So I can actually run that query. I'm going to write that note down, and I want to run that query, and I will post it on my Twitter, hopefully later today or whenever we get the data on it.
Nice. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, Sarah's backing you up. Sarah Burden, she's saying, right, because there's less motivation for a consumer to take time to write a review for a product that's just meh, versus a product you loved or a product that disappointed you massively. Well, all right. Other questions, and I'll come back to them if they weren't, but this makes me think of a couple of things. first, it is clear that with the shift to online, we talked about this last week, this kind of 4 years and 4 months type of step change in how much activity is taking place online with consideration and exposure to more products. Reviews, online information generally that's going to help me make a decision is bearing a lot more burden to help consumers make decisions. That's just the fact. So if more consumers are trying to do more to make a decision, and it's becoming clearer to lots of people, either they trust reviews less, or it's just not up to the task. A 5-star system isn't nuanced enough to help me make a decision about, does it fit correctly? What's the right use case? How does this compare to the alternatives? Those kinds of things. There needs to be a better review. So it needs to be clear who's making it, to your point, Tommy. Richer information about things like fit and how does it look in the real world compared to how it looked online? What's the use case, who it's right for? Those kinds of things need to emerge if we're all going to make even more of our decisions online about products, especially products for the brands represented on this call, making high consideration types of products. Two, to me, that there's this thing, and you harped on it a bunch, other people kind of piled on, you can't take consumer trust lightly. Like, becoming the trusted source of information as a brand could be a real competitive advantage over a long period of time. And that's a big deal in a world where someone like Amazon seems to keep getting more and more and more leverage and seems to be growing. And I don't have any, Amazon's a remarkable service. It will continue to be a remarkable service, but how as brands do we maintain a point of power and leverage as an alternative that's meaningful to the consumer? And really then, just to wrap up, fundamentally, more important than ever, Amazon's missteps feel like they're creating an opportunities for you all, for us, for the people on this call, to carve out this trusted experience and build more direct to consumer relationship. And so in any case, those are the things that this all makes me think. Better review, focus on trust, use that as an advantage to get more, build more direct relationship over time. Any other thoughts or questions around that? Yeah, Jen, you mentioned, I love they have pictures in the reviews. It sure seems like pictures and ultimately video are a better way to convey a lot of what would have to be long prose written out in a pretty compact way. And it looks obvious that's coming. More and more information getting conveyed in those kinds of things.
So I just wanted to touch down on that. The data shows that on Amazon, reviews with multimedia, so videos or pictures, are actually more negative on average. And it's probably because they're kind of showcasing, a crack in the screen or whatever. But I'm actually seeing on these private social media refund groups that results in an overwhelming number of video and picture reviews, because these reviewers who are getting paid, they go ahead and they upload a couple pictures to make the review look more legitimate. And those reviews, the ones that are coming from these paid groups, are actually way more positive and on average. So even if there's a picture of it, it could be a sign that, hey, this person was paid. And if you look at a listing on Amazon and it's just got every single review as a picture or a video, that's a huge red flag. So that's a little, probably too much information. But I do agree that if you're getting trusted reviews, having a well-done video is really helpful to help, the person describe the product and really inform you and educate you about the product. But on Amazon, they're really low quality videos, just like oh, here it is. I just unboxed it. You know, I'm a real reviewer. So keep that in mind. The video and image quality does actually matter a lot.
Yeah. Well, Tommy, thank you so much. Again, my gosh, it's nice to benefit from all of that work you've been through and going to the depths of the beast on what was going on. And everyone else, Teresa, I've been looking at you for a whole bunch of this time. All of you, thank you so much for spending time with us. We're going to work with you to figure out how do we help consumers make more confident buying decisions. So we appreciate it. Next week, we'll go deep into some of the product advancements we've been working on, and we'll have some real exciting reveals. You'll be in the know in a way others aren't about what's coming up after next week's gathering. Hey, Tommy, a question. What is your Twitter handle? Oh, there you go.
Oh, it's at ReviewMeta.
At ReviewMeta.
You can email me too, tommy@reviewmeta.com. And I sometimes post the egregious examples of fake Amazon reviews on the Twitter. So if you want to, listen to me complain about Amazon reviews, then go ahead and follow.
Okay. Hey, great. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.